Paytm has been working on something very big, and it is surprising how no one is talking about it. Paytm has been the pioneer of the Indian fintech space. It was the first one to introduce us to payments through QR codes. It also came up with incredible product offerings such as the Paytm Soundbox, which is now used by over 10 million merchants. However, over the last 4 years, they have been working on something very big. Something which would not only be very useful for the Indian financial landscape, but also for the entire Indian economy. They've been trying to solve a massive gap in the market, and that is the MSME credit gap. Welcome back to another video of our channel and to our 10th business case study, this time on Paytm's merchant lending business. Let's take a hypothetical example to understand this better. Let's consider a man named Raju. Now Raju owns a tapri, or let's say a small shop that sells tea, snacks and cigarettes. Now Raju has been making 25,000 rupees per month through this business and now wants to expand it. He maybe wants to open another shop or perhaps just increase the size of the shop and its product line. Let's say this entire venture will cost him about 5 lakh rupees. However, Raju does not have this 5 lakh rupees with him right now. What does he do then? Can he approach the banks? Not really. Banks would not be willing to give him a loan because there is no way for them to assess his credit worthiness. They have no data on his transactions, there are no income tax filings or so forth. The only option left for Raju then is to approach a private lender where the interest rates can be as high as 30% per annum. Now Raju is not alone. This is the situation with most of the MSMEs in our country, and by the way, there are a lot of them. Over 6 crores.
कि मुझे काम काज के लिए लोन नहीं मिल सकता क्योंकि मेरे पास धंधे के कमाई के कोई पक्के कागज नहीं।
The MSME sector has been a very integral part of the Indian economy. It contributes around 30% to India's GDP, 45% to our manufacturing output and 48% to our exports. The MSME sector also provides employment to over 11 crore people. But yet, there is a massive gap in the MSME lending space. It is estimated to be over 30 lakh crores.
Access to finance has been the big challenge for this sector, hindering the MSME growth story in India. Now, according to a World Bank report, the MSME sector in India is facing a huge credit gap of almost $380 billion. In fact, research reports suggest that only 16% of MSMEs in India are funded by the formal sector, and the remaining 84% are either underfinanced or financed through informal sources.
Now, this is where Paytm comes in. Paytm has partnered with NBFCs and banks to offer credit to such merchants and small business owners. But Paytm is not the first. Others have tried to address this gap in the market as well. But Paytm has a massive advantage. Well, whenever a merchant like Raju accepts payment on his QR code or on his soundbox, Paytm tracks this data. This transactional data is available to Paytm's database, and looking at this transactional data, they can assess the credit worthiness of that particular merchant. Paytm knows exactly how much money which merchant makes. They would thus also know which merchant is qualified and for how much credit. And this is a massive advantage. This makes them a superior lender than others. Some of the banks and NBFCs that have partnered with Paytm include Axis Bank, Tata Capital and Piramal Finance. Now what's really fascinating is the speed of this growth. In financial year 2022, Paytm gave out total merchant loans of 1500 crores. In financial year 2023, it rose to over 6000 crores. And in financial year 2024, despite the RBI restrictions on Paytm Payments Bank, they disbursed nearly 12,000 crores worth of merchant loans. Now, has this business saturated? Well, not even close. Even with such high disbursement figures, Paytm has given out loans to less than 4.4% of all the merchants that use devices like the Soundbox. So the potential for future growth is insane. Now, Paytm has not just been disbursing merchant loans. They've also been disbursing personal loans to individuals like you and I who use the app. And this number is just as big as the merchant loans number. In fact, a little bigger. But I don't believe there is a moat as solid or there's an advantage as big with regards to personal loans as there is for Paytm in the case of merchant loans. By the way, this lending business does not only have massive numbers, it is also very profitable for Paytm. Paytm acts like a distribution network for these banks. It helps the banks disburse these loans and collect the payments. And Paytm's take rate for their services is anywhere between 3% to 5% of the total value of the loans. And guess what? It is all risk-free. Paytm does not bear any risk that comes with poor asset quality. Even if the loans were to default, there would be no liability on Paytm. Well, despite this, the quality of the loans disbursed is of the highest quality. Obviously, because of the amount of transactional data that Paytm really has. Just last year, Paytm disbursed a total of 52,390 crores, and the revenue from this was over 2,000 crores. In addition to this, they've also started offering other services to merchants, such as shop insurance and health insurance. Again, partnering with major insurance companies. Now, Paytm is no longer alone. Others like PhonePe and Google Pay have also caught up, but Paytm is far ahead. The recent move by RBI was indeed a disappointment, and it really ended up slowing down the growth of this lending business. But as Vijay Shekhar Sharma puts it, this was just a speed bump, a large one, and hopefully they will be back on track very soon. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. We post such business case studies every week. The one coming next week is gonna be very exciting, so do stay tuned. And as always, thank you so much for watching.